Guys, it's finally happened. The Mariners are playing good baseball.
Ooh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Garrett.
I'm Nate.
And it is true. The Mariners are playing like a good baseball team. It is shocking. 5 games over 500.
Six
6 games over 500.
Maybe 7 after today.
Maybe 7 after today.
George
Stay tuned
Kirby's
to find
pitching.
out.
It's good baseball. It has been fun baseball. This is what we have been waiting for all season. We've had our ups and downs. We've been able to nitpick games where we're like, oh, that was a fun game. Or, they kind of did okay here, and then they drop a couple. They are playing good baseball right now, and I could not be more excited.
We were doing 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Now we're doing 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that is progress.
That is progress. We've won 8 out of our last 10 games, and we're hot. We just jumped the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Angels in the rankings, and we're behind the Blue Jays. We're looking up at the Blue Jays, the Astros, and things are looking great. The Mariners are finally clicking on all cylinders. I've been talking about it all year, how they don't have the right chemistry. There's always something off and wrong. No one's like they weren't picking each other up. They didn't have each other's backs quite as much as we'd like. The pitching was always locked down, but the offense was so streaky. Players were so streaky. The lineups were kind of weak, and things have changed. It's turned around, and we're firing on all cylinders, and I love to see it.
Jared Kelenich's foot died for this.
Dude, I was thinking this, man. Like, is this the catalyst we needed? Jared Kelenic.
Last year it was the Winker fight. This year it's the Kelenic kick. I mean,
the Kelenic kick. I love it. But, it has turned around. Everyone's clicking. Last night's game, Friday's game, every single starter had a hit. Tom Murphy and Cade Marlowe are batting over 300 on the season. This pod has been huge on having Tom Murphy see more playing time. And he's been getting it, and he is hitting the hell out of the ball.
That's my favorite part of this last couple weeks, last month stretch, really. Last 4 series, something like that.
Tom Murphy
seeing more playing time, yeah. Hell yeah. And Cal and Murph in the rotation, in the lineup on the same days. I love to see that.
Me too. Cal Raleigh's a switch hitter. Either one of them can DH, and they're both hitting well right now. Cal Raleigh's on a tear. This last month, he's been killing it.
Right-handed home run yesterday.
Yeah.
as a DH too.
Yeah, it's great. Now that everybody's taking better at bats, like they're seeing a lot more pitches and getting into more hitter-friendly counts. Even Dylan Moore's hitting the ball around the field. Canzone takes really good at bats. Cade Marlowe came up and looks like Kelenic did at the beginning of the season. It's great. He's super athletic. He can hit for power, but he just puts a good swing on the ball and has a good at-bat. He has good baseball IQ, and he just keeps it calm in big situations, and he's gotten it done for us more than once in the last week even. He's great.
And coming through in the clutch. How about on Friday, or was it Thursday? The Thursday game. Cade Marlowe, rookie, top of the 9th in Angels Stadium, down by 2, and he hits a grand slam in the 9th inning against Carlos Estevez, his first blown save of the season. Little fun fact here, Carlos Estevez is Charlie Sheen's real name. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that?
But this guy's name is Estevez.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We're nitpicking here. We're splitting hairs.
No way, man. There's an accent on the middle E.
I think there is for Charlie Sheen. Carlos Estevez.
I don't think so, man.
Estevez and Estevez are kind of different.
Those are 2 different names.
But either way, that dude has been locked down all year. And he hadn't pitched for a few days, so he came out a little bit shaky. He didn't throw very many strikes to the first couple batters, and it worked out. Cade Marlowe, he even whiffed on a couple fastballs that at bat too.
It was an 0-2 count when he hit that.
They threw him another one, He's like, all right, I'm looking for the fastball. I've whiffed on 2, but he's still looking for that high fastball, and he has no problem getting to that at the top of the zone, which is really nice. I remember saying really early in the season, it might have been like preseason, our first couple episodes, like, hey guys, Cade Marlowe looks like he has a really sweet swing. Like, I think we'll see him at some point this year, because we started out with like Trammell and Hummel and guys like that, and I knew Cade Marlowe would be around, like, making his debut. He's getting older too. He's in like later 20s, I think. He's like 27 or something like that. But it was his time to debut, and I knew we'd see him because we need left-handed hitting, especially after Kelenic got hurt. And
Well, we got it now.
yeah, I love it. That grand slam blew me away, dude. That was amazing. I had crazy goosebumps. I was just like, I was frozen for quite a few minutes, you know.
Yeah, dude, giving up your first blown save to a rookie on a grand slam has to feel pretty shit.
Suck it,
Suck it,
Angels.
Angels.
Also, I want to say that this is a mark of a good team where just any guy can be the hero. It doesn't necessarily have to be your superstars. It doesn't have to be your Julio Rodriguez or your J.P. Crawfords. It can be your Tom Murphys and your Cade Marlowes coming in and being the heroes. And that's what separates good teams from bad teams. If you're just relying on one or two guys, perfect example of that is the Angels. They rely on Shohei Ohtani, who is going to be the greatest baseball player in the history of baseball. But one guy can't win you games, and the Angels are proving it in this series against the Mariners.
God, he's doing everything he can to carry this team, and that's a lot of weight for one guy. He can't do it alone.
No, and baseball just doesn't work like that.
Right.
It's not like football.
Ohtani works like that. He's legitimately doing everything he can to carry them.
Yeah, and
they're not winning.
Yeah, and they're not.
And they're terrible.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, basketball, one superstar can get you to the championship. Football, one dominant quarterback can lead a shit team at least to the playoffs. Baseball, the Angels have the best player in the world on their roster, and he'll throw a complete game shutout and then hit 2 home runs in a doubleheader and like do everything he can to win. And just, you need more than one guy, and the Angels are proving that that's not it. And that's what the Mariners are doing really well right now.
All right, we're watching
Julio
the
home
game,
run. Let's
and
go.
Looks like
double-
Julio
was it a double?
Rodriguez
The wall.
just hit a home run, a double. That was crazy.
Sorry, we're watching the game as we speak.
Yeah,
Former Mariner Tyler Anderson on an 0-2 count kind of hung one to Julio there. We thought it went out, but hey, we scored a run on that.
2.
Is it out?
Let's watch the replay. Oh, that was the top of the wall. What?
Oh my God!
They
It
hit
literally
the top
hit
and like
just the top.
backspun back in. Jesus. JP,
Anyway,
best Mariner scores
yeah,
though.
J.P. Crawford, best Mariner. Let me talk about J.P. for a minute.
Hit it.
Let's do it.
J.P. Crawford has been having his best season of his career. He has been ripping the ball this year. His ground ball to fly ball ratio is really good. He's, like we said earlier in the season, he's kind of torquing like his body more and like getting he's so selective with his pitches that he knows what he's going to do with it when he gets it. And he's been putting it in the air for power a little bit more. He's already tied past his home run record for his career, and he's OPSing over 1,000 for the last for the last month. He's been really, really good. He's done everything right. He's the 10th player in WAR this season in the American League.
That's crazy.
9th in offensive WAR in the American League with like 3.5. He's been doing everything right. He's selective. He walks. His on-base percentage is 3rd in the American League. He's been nothing but awesome for the Mariners, and we always knew JP could be better than he was, and he's proving that he's a special player.
Over the last couple of years, a lot of people have been saying that JP's kind of capped. Like, that's about as good as you're going to get out of JP. Not even close to true. He's come through so clutch this year. He's so reliable. Every time he's up to bat, you're like, let's go right now. This is easy. On base for sure.
Well, and we've kind of mentioned that, like, you know, with JP did have a down year last year. And instead of that being the norm, the down year was actually the anomaly, that he is a great player. And the fact that the Mariners locked him up on that 5-year deal, now it seems like one of the biggest steals in the league, that we have JP locked up as our shortstop. And we are so lucky to have him. And he's having a hell of a year. Also, quick shout out for him. He won the Heart and Hustle Award for the Seattle Mariners, which is just goes to show of also what an amazing guy he is on and off the field. So JP, best Mariner. We love this dude.
Is Heart and Hustle something specific, or is it pretty self-explanatory?
It has to do with just like giving back to the community and like being just a good guy. Like,
Community
charity
outreach
work,
stuff, yeah.
community outreach, working with all types of charities and stuff. They give a Heart and Hustle Award to one player on each team, and it's to the player that best demonstrates, outreach to the community and good deeds and just being a all-around good person. And JP was the Seattle Mariners winner this year, and it could not be more well-deserved.
Yeah, good guy, JP. Best Mariner.
Best Mariner for sure. I love JP Crawford.
I'm glad I got the jersey.
Yeah.
I got
for
it when he
sure.
was okay.
He's only been getting better. He's been healthy this season. I think he was playing through some nagging injuries last season, and he's the kind of guy that likes to be on the field for almost every game. Like he's not getting pulled out of the lineup on his accord. So he's out there every day grinding, and last year battling through some stuff. This year healthy, and he looks great. He has good energy, and like you were worried about him sometimes because he does get banged up.
He gets banged up pretty good. We've seen him fall on his back and lay there for a kind of a minute and be like, no, this isn't when JP goes down for the season or for a while. And then he gets right back up and plays the rest of the game and kills it. He's the man.
Yeah. He fouled a ball off the inside of his knee.
Just the other day?
Got on base, went from first to third, like just fine. And then he had the diving play up the middle to like end the game with runners on base too. Like after he just fouled a ball off the inside of his right knee. Like he's a tough guy. He's a great athlete, and he's unbelievable this year.
That's our guy right there, JP Crawford.
We're so lucky to have him.
I was just thinking, baseball's mad superstitious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even a baseball player, but I'm fully on board with this really stupid superstition that last year when Geno joined the team, he had half of his hair bleached. So I bleached half my hair just on a whim.
Yes,
and
you
it
did.
still is half bleached. Even though Geno's isn't, I feel like if I change it now, Mariners might suck, and I can't do it. So now I'm stuck with this dumbass hairdo.
I was actually here for that when you decided to do it. We were sitting watching an afternoon Mariners game, and you were like, I like Suarez's hair. Hey, Julie, can you dye my hair like that? And she was like, yes, I can.
You want to do it right now? I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And sure enough.
And it's still there.
Yeah. It was like the third inning, you decided it, and by the 7th inning, half your hair was blonde.
Still is.
Still is.
And I can't change it now.
No, you can't.
I got to wait till baseball season's over.
Can't change it now, and he's rolling now. Speaking of Geno, just set the Mariners club record with 10 straight games with an RBI.
All-time franchise
record, just past the great Edgar Martinez. And anytime you pass Edgar in any record category, I mean, you're doing something pretty damn good.
Yeah, dude, that's a big deal.
That is huge. I cannot believe that happened. 10 straight games. What was it? A 9th inning RBI last night, or late in the game it was like 8th or 9th inning RBI single to pass the record set by the great Edgar Martinez.
Speaking of
Speaking
JP
of
Crawford, holy
Oh, my
crawdaddy,
goodness.
deep in the hole between third and short. Backhand and throw to first. Ty France with the long hop. This is beautiful.
That gets me bricked up right there.
Sliding stop, one hopper to tie. Easy.
Sorry you guys have to listen to
Us
in-game
watch the
updates
game.
2 days ago.
JP is sexy.
JP's the
Goddamn.
man. Honestly, there's so many Mariners that are turning into the man right now. Geno, the man.
He's a brick wall at third base, too. Oh my God.
That is one
His
thing-
defense is way
Gold
underrated.
glove defense over
It
there.
is Gold Glove worthy. And honestly, all year, yes, his offense until after the All-Star break, before the All-Star break, his offense has been lacking. There's no denying that. But his glove was always solid, and he never takes a day off. That dude is in the lineup every single day, giving you Gold Glove level defense at third base. And now his bat's coming around, and he has a Mariners franchise record to show for it.
Yeah, it seems like he's a hardworking guy. He leads by example with a good attitude.
Good vibes
And-
only.
Yeah.
Strictly.
And you know what kind of average he's going to put up because that's what he's done his whole career. It's going to be in that 225 to 235 range. And when his hits come, like sometimes they're not at the most opportune time. But when his hits get strung together in clutch situations, it's awesome. He did that last year for us, hit a lot of clutch homers and doubles. He's a guy that can just club the ball. And
That's a strong man.
for him, it's when the hits come, like hopefully it's an important time because you know how many hits he's going to get, but it depends on when they happen, but I love that he's in the middle of our lineup every day. He's so consistent that we know what to expect from him, and he plays the best defense like we've seen from him, I think. I don't know. He's played consistently great defense since we've got him. Yeah. It's been great.
Yeah, when Kyle Seager retired and we picked up Geno, I think a lot of people were skeptical that we were going to get another solid third baseman, and we got a solid third baseman out of that.
I mean, and those were big shoes to fill. Kyle
Oh, yeah.
Seager had been our third baseman for 10 straight years. He had won a Gold Glove. He had been a staple on that corner. And for Suarez to come in and be like, oh, you know, how are you going to top Kyle Seager? And he's doing it.
And honestly, the vibes are like nothing to scoff at or laugh at. Like, it's not like a weird, like, voodoo superstition thing, you know, like it actually in a 162 game baseball season, it kind of does matter. Because if you look at, you know, our first half of the year kind of scuffling through, you know, if you have guys that are keeping it positive, keeping it light, it's going to set you up for this run that we've been on in July going into August. Whereas if you're like, all right, down on the dumps, you know, first half of the season didn't go how you planned it. I'm just going to be in a bad mood all the time now. Just, you know, scratch this whole entire season, you know, you're just going to keep spiraling. You need guys like Geno that are like, okay, you lose, pick your head up, find something positive to focus on, go out, win the next day, celebrate that win, be happy about it. Every win matters at the end of the day. Just need someone like Geno around to, you know, keep it light, keep it loose, even when times are dismal, and they have been dismal at times this year.
And we spent the last couple months talking about team leadership and how we're lacking in this and that. I don't know if we've given Geno enough credit for good vibes only. I'm going to give him credit now for holding it down. I'm sure he's in there all the time, perking people up. Even when he's snapping bats like toothpicks over his knee.
That's awesome.
That's good vibes.
Yeah, I think Geno and JP are definitely leading by example for sure. I don't know how vocal they are, but they lead by example, obviously.
Team guys for sure, yeah. You need that.
Also, with the Mariners playing well right now and like everyone picking each other up, Castillo on Friday night got absolutely shelled. Gave up 7 runs in like 5-6 innings. Awful start. And the Mariners managed to pick it up for him.
Your normal everyday Mariners do not come back from something like that.
No, this is a new team. We are finally seeing it. We've spent so long it was hard for us to be optimistic. And we would talk about it before episodes like, hey, you know, we know things are rough right now, but let's not be doom and gloom. Let's put a positive spin on things. And we almost reached our breaking point where it's like, how much more can we take?
Oh, we got there.
That panic button was in sight.
Yeah,
I
we
think
were hovering.
We were right there.
And now it's everything that we've talked about since the beginning of the season, waiting for the weather to warm up, waiting for that marine layer to dissipate, waiting for everything to click at once. And we've waited, and we've been patient Mariners fans. We've been good little boys and girls.
We're pretty good at that.
And now it is happening. And now worst comes to worst, even if we drop Saturday's game and Sunday's game against the Angels, that's still a series road split against a division rival. And right now, with the way the Mariners are playing, there's a chance they'll take the series 3-1, or even a sweep. Like, this is the type of baseball we needed, and this is also the kind of baseball the Angels play. You know, stuff starts getting a little bit hotter, games start mattering a little bit more. I mean, every game, 1 from 162 matters, But let's be real. After the All-Star break, when the race is getting a little hotter and you're a little bit in the nitty-gritty, those games do matter a bit more. And right now, the Mariners are flourishing while the Angels are floundering. Nailed it.
They really are. They're floundering. They're the Mariners would you believe the Mariners have had the second most plate appearances with the bases loaded this year?
I would believe that, yes.
I would believe it, but I would also believe that they went 0 for 146 in bases loaded at
Right.
bat.
Yeah.
If you
it does
told me
seem
they
that
were
way.
last in bases loaded plate appearances, I'd be like, that's checks out.
Yeah, that adds up.
So they're like one at bat behind the Dodgers in plate appearances with the bases loaded. The Mariners have a 350 batting average, a 383 on base, and a 561 slug for a 944 OPS with the bases loaded, which is really damn good. We have the most hits with the bases loaded by 11.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've scored the
wild.
second most runs, second most doubles, second most RBIs. Like, we're absolutely killing it with the bases loaded. But when I look at strikeouts, we also have the most strikeouts with the bases loaded. So I think that's what's making us think that, because in those clutch
Because we load the
situations,
bases a lot.
36 strikeouts with the bases loaded is a lot to watch.
I was looking, it's a 25% rate of strikeouts with the bases loaded. That's too much.
That
That's
just
a
kills
lot.
you. That's not a productive out. You don't put
There's
the ball
noth-
in the outfield at all, give a chance for a ball to
Yeah.
magically drop or get a sac fly or, hit the ball hard in the infield. Like, you're giving away a quarter of your at-bats with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I think that's definitely why we're sneaky good. Like, because we've seen all the bad. We're like, the bad balances it out. We're like, oh, we actually are pretty good with the bases loaded. I guess I shouldn't be so upset,
But there are ups. I mean, even with that shockingly astounding bases loaded hit rate, the Mariners still run into situations. For example, last night, tie ball game against the Angels, bases loaded, no one out, strikeout, pop out, inning over. Bases loaded, no one out, no one scores. And earlier in the season, we'd be like, okay, well, that's going to cost you the game. But this team right now, after the All-Star break, is not giving up. They're not rolling over. We're finally seeing some fight, and they came back and won that game. And those are the types of situations, though, that really stick with us. When you see the bases loaded, no one out, and you can't get one damn run in, though, that's what sticks with you. So it is shocking to see how well they are actually doing with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I mean, you could give me the percentage of times that Patrick texts me when the bases are loaded and they
Load them and leave them.
Yeah, those kinds of texts, those are through the roof. But he doesn't hit me up when we score a run with the bases loaded.
That's expected.
So, I
we
mean-
should have scored those runs. No reason to.
No, but you're totally right. When you're watching the game, those stick with you. Those hurt. So it seems like a lot, but we're also loading the bases a lot. And being productive when that happens.
There might be a viewership bias also. Like, we're noticing a lot more, when we strike out with the bases loaded, because we all, I think I can speak for all of us, we all watch and listen to pretty much almost every game, or at least
Every
a little
pitch
part.
of every game. Yes.
Every pitch of every game, or at least most of it.
One of us is listening to every pitch.
Yeah, no, we got our bases covered.
Yeah,
and
we
it
do.
seems-
Just how,
literally.
how
That's what we're talking about
how
right now.
productive can we be?
Bases are loaded.
And yeah, it
up.
seems like every time. I mean, we always focus on the negatives, when we strike out, and yeah, when we do produce, it kind of goes by the wayside. And I feel like just the way the human mind works, you kind of focus on the fuck ups more than the production.
I do have another thing to say about the Mariners with runners in scoring position versus just bases loaded.
Okay.
Like, with runners in scoring position, their slash line is like 251, 339, 396 for a 735 OPS, which is not that great.
You
It's
definitely
right
want
around
that
league
on
average.
base percentage to be higher in those situations.
Yeah, the BABIP of 314 is not great. I mean, We're not the best with just like runners in scoring position. We're kind of middle of the road in a lot of those categories there.
So what does that tell us? Are they too antsy? Like, are they really swinging for the fences when you have a runner at second base?
I think
or third base?
When the bases are loaded, the pressure's really on the pitcher, and when the Mariners get in those situations, they're hopefully the right guys up to bat, like J.P. Crawford, or someone that can work the pressure against the pitcher rather than being too antsy, like, say, Teoscar or Julio or Kelenic, where they kind of put themselves in a hole. It depends on who's up, right? Like, you have to be selective and make sure the pitcher has the pressure on them and when the bases are loaded, the most pitchers on the pressure's on the pitcher. Mm-hmm. But with runners in scoring position, that means like there could just be a runner on second.
Yeah.
In any situation, no outs, 2 outs.
But with that slash line, are we like swinging first pitch when that happens? Like just
depends.
Digging a hole?
Yeah, it depends, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's always different. Depends on who's up, who's pitching, what the situation is, what the score is of that game. That's just an aggregate of everything that's happened this season. Right. So, I mean, they're not
too much.
They're not great, but they're not awful either, But they have gotten a lot better recently. July was super hot. So the whole first half of the season, they were probably in the lower end of those rankings, but now with a great July, they've kind of jumped up to the middle of the pack in runners in scoring position, which we've appreciated a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond upsetting to see the Mariners in a prime situation to score, especially when they need to get a run across and not doing shit with it. And, I mean, how it's just everything clicking. And we've been waiting for this all year. How many episodes have we had where we're like, it's starting to click, it's kind of getting there, but just wait for everything to happen at once. It's going to be so much better. And now it is. And now we're watching fun baseball again. I'm not miserable watching the Mariners drop a series to the Tigers and losing like 8-2 and having 4 hits, in a like.
That was the last series we dropped too.
That
hard
is
to be miserable when you're winning series.
That's true. Like, I mean,
4 in a row, yeah.
I mean, 4 straight series wins against good ball clubs.
This is series 5 against the Angels right now. 4-game series, and we've already split. We're guaranteed splits.
Yeah, so this is again not
it's a good shot at a 5-series streak.
Yes.
Yeah, the pace is incredible. The Mariners are playing really competitive baseball against the teams we need to play against. The series against Boston was feisty. We grinded out those games and really put it on them. It was great to see the Mariners finally come up clutch and like in a situation where they really needed to here against Boston and Anaheim. And I mean, the trade made a big difference. Paul Sewald, it sucks to lose Paul Sewald, but honestly, it created lanes in our bullpen that we hadn't used. Things look good in our bullpen still. I miss Paul Sewald, but we have weapons in our bullpen. Also, Canzone's taking great at bats, even though he's still really young. Like, he takes good at bats, and we can put like 6 left-handed bats in a lineup against a right-handed pitcher now, which we had not seen all season long. And that's great. Now we have a right-handed lineup and a left-handed lineup. Young flexibility. Rojas looks good defensively, but like we haven't seen him do much offensively yet. But Canzone looks like he's going to be hitting the ball against right-handed pitching for sure, and I'm not too worried about him. We have way more flexibility here. We're a more dynamic team with more energy now.
Dude, straight up, good call. So sad to see Sewald go, but at the same time, we're seeing our bullpen move into new roles, and they're getting it done. Even Matt Brash. Wild, out of this world,
Dude,
Matt Brash.
What a roller coaster.
He's doing it. Still crazy Matt Brash, but
he's a roller coaster.
That was so scary last
it's
night.
stressful, man.
How do you trust it? His stuff is so good, but how can you trust him?
I know.
So sketchy, but effectively wild last night. That was crazy.
I mean,
I
you
kinda
got the
love
first.
Friday.
I mean, you have a 2-run lead, and he lets the first 2 runners on. So now, any swing of the bat could be a game ender.
Shohei's
Who's
up
up
next.
to bat?
Shohei.
Shohei Ohtani.
And he struck him out.
Yeah.
3 pitches.
3 pitches. And I just
Struck him out on a high fastball, too.
high heat.
I was surprised Shohei came out so aggressive after he was throwing so much so many balls in a row. You know what I mean? Like, he was wild, and then Shohei was like, "I'm coming in and just blasting the first pitch." Like, what? Why isn't he more patient and get his pitch to do the damage? He was kind of antsy, I think.
Oh yeah.
So
No, that's the kind of thing we saw out of the Mariners for the first half of the season.
and
Yeah,
Brash's elite shit matches Ohtani too.
Yeah, and Shohei, it definitely, Shohei seemed out of sorts in that at bat. He swung at a ball that dipped down into the dirt, and then second pitch fouled off. Hard foul ball, but fouled down the right field line. And then third pitch, high and in, heater, and he just swung. He's damn near corkscrewed himself, which we've also seen Brash do to hitters since the very first game of the season.
J-Ram.
Usually on a slider, but this fastball.
This fastball had him spun around.
The way Ohtani leans out and that hot up and in fastball coming up towards him, it kind of freaked him out. It was great.
I'll never forget that Jose Ramirez at bat.
I got to see that live. It was hilarious. It was so funny.
Oh, so speaking of Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson got in a actual fist fight at second base.
One of the craziest brawls has happened on Saturday, August 5th. I always have to check my watch to make sure I know what day it is.
J-Ram was sliding head first pretty hard into second base.
How can you? But again,
Through
how do you
Tim
slide,
Anderson's legs,
How do
super
you slide
late.
that hard head first, though? I get if you're going cleats up. I feel like Tim Anderson was a little bit soft about it.
Break it down for us.
I feel like it was something said because
It had to be
he
words.
slid head first. There's no danger to Tim Anderson there, and Ramirez slid right between his legs. I mean, just watch the video. Slid right between his legs, and he kind of reached up with his hand on the video. It looks like, I don't know if he smacked Tim Anderson on the back of the leg or something, or if he just said some shit. But
He looked up and was saying some
That's
stuff.
what I was
were
wondering.
talking.
Yeah. So he
hey,
slides
what the
in, he's
fuck?
into second, and then he raises his hand up. I thought, I've only seen the video once so far. I know you guys have watched it multiple times, but I've only seen it once. It looked like he was like, "Hey, help me up," reaching his hand
or
up.
calling time or something, I thought.
Or yeah, that could be it too. But reaching his hand up for either help up or calling time, but something very extended, or maybe even to look at them what, asking a question. But yeah, then he stands up. Go ahead, Patrick. You break it down. You've seen it hella times.
Well, I mean, they stand up, and then this is something you've never seen in a baseball brawl before. They straight up squared up, knuckled up, like a fucking parking lot fight.
Yeah, they
it
stanced
was,
up
it was like a hockey fight, dude. Anderson literally dropped his glove and squared up like a hockey fight.
And if you've ever seen a baseball brawl before, it usually, more often than not, involves a hitter charging the mound, and they might get one or two swings.
There's
in.
a shove involved.
Yeah, but it's chaos, and everyone comes crashing in. This was two men just standing knuckle up, like they are about to get into a brawl in the
Tim
middle
Anderson's
of a
doing a little,
Walmart,
boxing,
a Walmart parking lot.
Little dip, little bob, little.
yeah, bob and
And-
weave.
And they swung, and Ramirez caught him with a right and slumped Tim Anderson. And it's so funny. I really wanted to tweet Tim Anderson is good at two things: cheating on his wife and getting slumped in baseball fights. But Mike Cameron follows me on Twitter, and I didn't want to make him upset because him and Tim Anderson are tight. So I couldn't tweet it. I have 70 followers on Twitter. It just happens that Mike Cameron is one of them. I mean, 70 followers is nothing.
Don't risk it.
I know. I don't want to make Mike Cameron mad at me.
Never made Mike Cameron mad.
That's the best brawl I've seen since Bautista and Odor.
That was
over
the only other one where you could see a little bit of a square up, also at second base. Interesting.
Also
Yeah.
at second, I think that plays a big role with it because they're away from everyone. Like they are just there on their own island. Whereas if a hitter's charging the mound, the catcher is nearby. First and third base are crashing.
The whole dugout empties because it's so close.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bullpen comes in after the fight's over, acting like they were doing something.
Yeah, this was a
That's
special
a formality.
one.
This was
Yeah.
a special one, and
Yeah.
honestly, this is gonna be, it's gonna be talked about a lot. And I'm looking. I mean, I was just thinking about this as we're discussing it live. Ramirez suspension. How many games are we thinking? It's gonna be a chunk.
Yeah, 3, 5.
Yeah, 3.
I'm saying 7 to 10.
I say 5.
I mean, if
3.
we're going off of I mean, speaking of Mariners Angels right now, if we're going off of that brawl, I mean, what did JP get last year? 5? I think he got it reduced.
No, I
thought
think
he
it was
got like
actually
2 or
lower.
3.
I think all Mariners
Winker?
got it was like 1 or 2 for pretty much everyone. Nevin,
I think Winker got like at least 3 to 5.
Yeah, he got 3 to
Winker
3
got
maybe.
Winker and Nevin,
4.
the Angels manager. Angels manager Phil Nevin got like a 10-game suspension.
Ooh.
Because he called for it.
Right.
Yeah. I think Winker was like 5. Julio was 1. I think JP was 1 to 2.
Yeah.
But again, that is more of a full brawl setting. I'm thinking on this one-on-one, just fisticuffs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over 5.
Yeah, I'd have to
under
look back
10.
and see what, like, it would probably be comparable to what Odor and Batista got. I mean, is probably the closest. Because, yeah, that fight last year with the Angels was, like, pretty much all v all.
Yes.
You know, this, like, 1v1, like, we've really only seen that, like I said, with Batista and Odor, and I don't remember what suspensions they got. But, yeah, probably, like, could be 5 to 7, even
I'm going
up
low
to
end.
10.
3. I'm with Matt.
Yeah. I think like it'll probably start out over 5, but get reduced to like 5.
I'd like to see it.
What? How's
I'm
that
saying-
How's that math?
No, I'm saying it'll start out over 5. He'll get suspended for like 7 to 10 games, like you're saying, but it'll get reduced to like 3 to 5. I don't know.
Also,
I'd-
it's always
I'd
a
Now,
personally
Matt's
like to
metric
see
is
it.
5.
5. It's gonna be 5.
I'd like to see it like 0 or 1, but I know that's not realistic. But I don't
It's not 0.
I don't want to see him
a
suspended
0-game
for that,
suspension.
I still
What?
like both of those guys.
dude. Yeah,
honestly.
I still like him. Like, and also, why does a fight matter? Like, it's not like they were doing roids.
It's
or
entertaining.
Something. Yeah,
I mean, shit.
It's good for the game.
They've been playing
It
each
is
other
good for
for a
the game.
long time. They've both been in the Central. I like maybe they have some prior beef and stuff. To me, it looked like Joe Ram kind of looked up and like put his hand up, like, "Hey, what the fuck, man? Like, give me space," or like, "What are you doing?" And it just got heated. Like, I think they have prior beef. Either way, yeah, those guys. Good fight. Good fight.
check it out because it is definitely entertaining, and you can watch Tim Anderson
Get his bell rung.
do his best Frozen impression.
maybe
He got
Tim
knocked.
Anderson farted on him, and that's why he threw his hand up and was like kind of trying to wave it away. Because I'd definitely fight someone for that too.
That might have been what happened. Actually,
Also, Rohend Odor's suspension was 8 games.
it's Rugned, dude.
Ned.
Whatever.
Rugi. Yeah, Rugned Odor. It was how many games?
It was 8. He appealed. It got reduced to 7. So I'm
Okay.
expecting about the same.
Probably
for,
same ballpark for this.
for this fight. But very entertaining.
Can we put a stipulation on it? Now that we all have different.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we taking a?
I'm going low. I'm going 3. Matt's going 5.
I'm saying 7 to 10.
I'm saying 6, but it should be 1 to 0.
All right.
If
All right,
I
what's
was
the bet?
commissioner,
We'll
but
see.
knowing Manfred sucks.
What's
Hope
the
you-
bet? Pack of baseball cards.
Yeah. Pack of baseball cards.
All right.
Tops Chrome.
There you
We'll go to DJ's down the
Bet
street.
who's ever the most off has to tell an embarrassing story next episode on the pod for all our listeners.
And
to
a
hear.
pack of baseball cards.
And, who cares? Yeah, baseball
Matt
cards.
cares. Matt loves baseball
Whoa.
cards.
Then just buy Matt a pack of baseball cards.
Yeah, please. Nathan
I'm
actually,
sure our listeners really care if Matt gets another pack of baseball cards.
producer Nathan just got me a few packs of baseball cards, and it was the best gift. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that a lot.
Who fucking cares?
A rookie, Brian Bayo, rookie. Nice pitcher for the Red Sox.
All of us 4 care. I don't care if anyone else cares. We all
I would
care.
love a pack of baseball cards. I want to win this. 3. Anyway.
I
What else
care
we
about. Oh, I have a fun stat for you guys that I have discovered for like 2 weeks now. I keep forgetting to bring it up.
If it's not fun, you owe me a pack of baseball cards.
It's kind of fun. In all of this current 2023 season and Julio Rodriguez's Rookie of the Year winning freshman season of baseball, how many sacrifice flies does Julio Rodriguez have in his career?
Ooh, I have a number already, but So I know this year, to put it in perspective a little bit for you guys, Eugenio Suarez leads the league in the American League with 9 sack flies.
That's awesome. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact too.
Yep.
Look at all of us spitting facts.
So at this point in the season, 9 leads the league. And in 1.5 Julio seasons, I'm going to have to drop my number a little lower.
I was gonna go low as well.
I'm thinking really low, yeah.
All right, I got one.
I'm gonna play the Price is Right game. Well, I guess I'm playing
Price
Price
is
is Right
Right?
rules. I'm going 0.
Oh, you should do
Okay,
that
good.
after somebody else guesses. Let's see.
Well, we'll cut it then. Somebody else guess first, and then I'll guess 0.
Just
All
guess
right,
zero.
I got a guess.
Okay.
I got 13.
Okay. I mean, he definitely had a bunch of RBIs last year that helped him win Rookie of the Year.
Yep,
Oh,
I went on the surprisingly
season.
low end.
No,
No,
how many
career.
does he have in his career?
Oh,
A
gotcha.
year and a half.
Yeah,
You already
okay.
locked in 0, though. You're cooked.
No,
I locked
I changed
in
my mind.
13. I'm gonna go
for
on
the
the surprisingly low end.
Ooh, I was thinking lower than
Fuck,
that.
I was gonna go surprisingly low. With
I'm thinking back, dude. I'm thinking back to last year. How many sack flies? How
10,
many of his RBIs
locking
were
in
actually
10.
sack flies?
locking in 10.
Dang,
right, so we
we're
got-
going low. All right, Nate, what do you got?
I might be totally wrong, and I might get made fun of for this, but I'm gonna say 3.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
extreme, dude.
1.
God
What?
damn it!
He only has 1 sacrifice fly in his career. Isn't that
Now I'm
great?
keeping in the 0 guess. I was so good at this game.
I told
You're
you
sure
it was
about
low. I
this?
was close.
Pull it up right now. Baseball. Pull it up,
I have
Jamie.
to,
Pull that
I
up.
have to double check this.
I
Yeah,
told
go
you,
for
bro.
It. Go
I
to
was
baseballreference.com. Look at sacrifice flies. He has 1. It happened last year, 1 time.
I want so badly to take credit for this win, but it goes to Nate. I'm pissed, dude. I was gonna lock in 0.
told
God
you it was
damn
low, dude.
No, I'm pissed.
He had a lot of RBIs last year, but yeah,
Only 1 sacrifice.
thinking back on it, yeah, not a lot of sack fly opportunities.
0 sack bunts and 1 sack fly. That is incredibly crazy.
Fuck that. Give me another one.
Also, also think about how many times he has been up to bat with runner on third and less than 2 outs. And again, not trying to shit on Julio, but I just found that shocking that he has 1 career sacrifice fly.
Was it an accident?
Well, because a lot of the times he's had guys, I know a lot of times he's had guys on third that he's like gotten a base hit and driven him in. So sack flies are a different ball game.
No, it's all baseball, Nate.
It's true.
It's the same sport.
It's the same ball game.
Noticed? I mean, he doesn't put the ball in the air that well. He's kind of more a ground ball, like line drive hitter. You know what I mean? He doesn't go like launch mode necessarily. Well, that happens sometimes, but even though he does so well in the home run derby, he's not necessarily that guy. He's hit into more double plays this year than I've expected. He hits the ball on the ground to the shortstop or third baseman very often, which that's kind of frustrating for me. Or like the strikeouts and then just the ground out rate to the shortstop and third baseman is incredibly high. And I've seen him go the other way in the air this year more than he did last year, and I thought that was a good sign at the beginning of the season, but now I'm like, is he just behind the ball? Like I don't know. There's something that's not clicking. I don't know if it comes with the stardom. It is the sophomore slump, though. I mean, he's had hot streaks, but lately he's still had a pretty bad last like 7 and 15 games last time I checked.
Hitting wise, yeah. I was at Trenchers on Thursday. Shout out Trenchers. Watching the game. Julio Rodriguez was in the midst of a 27 on base game streak.
Yeah,
So
that blew my mind.
I saw that shit. That shit was.
And he hardly walks. He strikes out a lot and like hardly walks, and he still had a 27 game on base streak. That was wild.
We're like more focused on the negatives, so when the positives happen, it seems like a little bit more surprising. And yeah, Julio, I mean, we've definitely had our issues with Julio at the plate, and his average is way lower than it should be. But he does somehow, some way, again, after the All-Star break, has found ways to get on base. As for the power numbers, the Mariners' power numbers are down across the board this year. Home and away. They have just not hit as many home runs as they have in years past.
Oh, we're picking it up, though.
We have been.
This week.
Cal Raleigh's been.
Cal Raleigh has
Murphy.
been putting a bunch of charges into him.
Ty hit one yesterday.
Ty.
Dylan Moore.
Demo, yeah.
Demo hitting
Cade.
bombs.
Cade.
Kissing Cade Marlowe.
Kissing Cade.
The Murph.
Yeah.
Murph
so
dog.
So the power numbers are growing, but they have been down across the board, especially for the first, 5 months of the season.
Agreed, yeah.
The power numbers are not what we thought they would be. We were expecting Suarez to have 20 plus by now. We were expecting Julio to probably be around 20 by now, which he is. He's at 18, I believe.
Yeah.
Just going off the top. So he's right around 20, but we were expecting to have a team full of 20 plus home run guys, and it's just not been in the cards this year. But the Mariners have proven that they have this last month that they don't need the long ball to win games. They're using great pitching and situational hitting.
How about that base running the other day too? That first and third kind of steal of home that we pulled.
Oh!
That's what I like to see. That's when you really need to produce runs like we really did at that point. What day of the week was that? Was that Wednesday against Boston? Or Tuesday?
It was Wednesday. It was a day game.
Yeah. So it was Wednesday, yeah. First, Geno was on first. By the way, great heads-up play by Geno.
Yeah.
Geno's
Great
the man.
heads-up play by Julio at third. Yeah, so Geno broke to second. Catcher threw down. I mean, this is a common, high school, little league
yeah.
play
This is the
that
type
you
of shit
practice.
they teach you in Little League.
And it looked
remember
like the
doing
Red Sox
this.
forgot about it. They didn't have a cut play in action or a no-throw play in action. They just threw down to second. And Julio, with his speed, immediately got his secondary and broke to home as soon as they threw the ball to second.
Yeah.
And Geno, just knowingly just stopped right there. I mean, he didn't try to go for the bag, try to
halfway.
slide in. He just stopped halfway, dead in his tracks. And then, they couldn't throw out Julio at home in time. And that's the kind of baseball that, without the lawn ball that we're not really having right now, you need to play that kind of ball.
For sure. Yeah. Julio, he's still hitting 250 something. His OPS is still in the high sevens or 760 something at least, which isn't bad. It's just our expectations. Our expectations for Julio are super high. We want him to be an 800 plus OPS guy. We want him to be a home run hitter. He steals bases, so when he's on base, he's always a threat. But the strikeouts are a problem. He doesn't walk a lot. He's a very aggressive style hitter. So maybe eventually he'll temper his aggressiveness and go for a little bit more of a dynamic approach where he can get his pitch and really slam it and have that over 800 or 900 OPS. And also, the Mariners, they're really picking it up recently, which is nice to see. This is what we wanted to see all year. The winning percentage in July is off the charts. We're continuing to do that here in August. Against Boston, we were what got us into that chess match against the Red Sox. We were changing pitchers, matching up. The day we traded Seawald, we had to match up pitchers and put pinch runners and pinch hitters in. Cora's doing the same thing.
They were really patient and really playing the game that day.
Are we singing?
Service.
Services, decision making.
I'm
Service.
getting there.
Okay, when we're talking about the team having a great month, we got to include Scott Service. He's having a month, dude.
Yeah. I agree. I think those matchups with the Red Sox really put him in the zone because Cora is that cerebral manager that's going to play matchups, and it forced us to do it. And it forced us to be more creative with what we can do with our roster. And now as the team's winning and we have a more dynamic roster, we're putting more players in position to win. Even Isaiah Campbell, and using our lefties in the pen really effectively against the lineup. Pulling a guy with 2 outs just to face the right-hander and come in for the next right-hander the next inning. And they're making the right decisions. It's been paying off recently.
Yeah, Patrick, you've been talking about how Scott does these weird things when we have options, and then he goes with the weird option. You're like, what are you doing, man? Like this obvious decision is right in front of you, and you want to do some weird shit. But not this month.
No, and he has done some weird shit. He put Brash in for a save yesterday. And you know what? We've said this a million times too. Winning solves everything. Those cute decision-making abilities, if they win, you sing their praises.
Yeah, you look like a hero.
Yeah, but when they fail,
Then you
that's
fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah. No, but specifically in that Red Sox series when we're really playing chess out there, like matching the whole dynamic of what Cora's doing. He's putting in pitchers, he's switching out positions, like he's really playing the game. Scott was doing the exact same thing, and we came out on top there.
Yeah, and also a lot of people were upset about the Seawald trade, and it sucks losing them. Also, if you guys haven't heard yet, we put out a midweek episode called Touching Base. It's a new kind of midweek thing we've got where we really went over the trade deadline as it was happening. So if you still have questions about our initial thoughts on the trade deadline, feel free to check out that quick snippet. It's like 20 minutes, and we bang out all the information that you need to know about the trade deadline as it happened. And I even said at the time that it was a seller move, right? We're selling our closer to then bolster our roster for the future. But now we have added depth. So we can make those kind of chess moves because we have another second baseman. We have another corner outfielder. Those are the kind of moves that needed to be made. And I was all for the Seawald trade when it happened. As tough as it was and as sad as it is to see him go. And I have said this, that relievers are a dime a dozen. You never know when a reliever is going to shine one year and be down the next. And the Seawald move was 100% correct. And we are seeing the fruits of that already. Look at a team like the Angels that were complete buyers at the trade deadline. They tried everything they could. They added pitching, they added another hitter or two, and it's not working out for them. Dipoto, doing another Dipoto masterclass, I guess, managed to get 3 players for a reliever, and those players are already making impacts for us. It was a good move.
I was pretty hesitant on the Seawald trade. I needed to see something happen, but just this last week has really shown, like, damn, dude. Sucks to see Seawald go. We're huge Seawald fans. We love that guy. But, man, what we picked up was the depth that we actually needed. You're 100% right. You nailed it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, having Colton Wong and AJ Pollock was just a slog.
That's not depth.
Yeah, so
That's death.
Replacing those holes in our lineup and roster was awesome, and it makes us flexible and dynamic, like I've been talking about. We can put more lefties in the lineup. They both hit left-handed. It's great. So now we have a platoon second base with Caballero, who hasn't been as hot as he was earlier this season, but he's still the guy he is, and we need him on our team. He steals bases. Dylan Moore's heating up too, so he's in the mix at second base and in left field. Yeah, so now we have a right-handed and a left-handed lineup. It's so good to see that our trade was a positive one. And selling Paul Seawald at his max value right now, I think. He's getting a little bit older. He's over 30, and he's the best he's ever been in his career. It's the best time to sell a reliever that you never know when his drop-off is coming or when he's going to get injured or anything like that. We traded from our depth to fill the holes we needed right away because they were obvious glaring holes all season long. Anytime Pollock and Wong were in the lineup, it was not fun to look at. And now it's different. Now we have a different outlook on the season, how the team can play on the field, how they can switch in and out, and it looks way better. They have better energy. Everything is looking better.
Yeah, Scott's job got a little bit more difficult with that move. He's got to do more than what we've seen, which is doing very little.
Yeah.
Do you think he's excited? Do you think he's like, sweet,
Yes.
now I get to do my job? Or do you think he's like, fuck, it's a little stressful. Like, really, like,
I think he's excited.
I hope he's
I
excited.
hope so.
Because that's what he's there to do.
He's been doing it for a
to
while.
manage the club.
He's comfortable here. He probably is like, finally, I have some pieces I can fucking play on the board.
Fucking hope
Let's go,
so, dude.
Yeah, and I think as a baseball coaching staff, like they're doing a good job putting the players in the places they need to help our team win, which is nice. I do want to say though, like even though the trade was good, I'm sad we didn't do more. I'm sad we didn't buy someone, like go get something, go spend some of our prospect capital and make that trade with the Cardinals, like I said in Touch and Base on Wednesday.
Well,
And like why like grabbing a couple extra bats would be awesome. Like we kind of did, but we didn't get that one banger guy. We have those guys in our lineup who are heating up, and we expect those guys to be bangers. But like, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
like-
I'm not disappointed. I'm just kind of like, we could have done more. We could have
That's-
made one more move.
that's kind of what Patrick's saying, though. I mean, the Angels who were buyers are getting beat by sellers right now.
Sure, but
And
if
I mean, look at even the beginning of the season. The Mets went all in. They paid a bunch of players, a bunch of money, and it is a crapshoot. And yes, we wanted the Mariners to do more, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the team the Mariners set us up with in this offseason was bullshit.
Terrible.
Cole Calhoun, Tommy La Stella, AJ Pollock,
Colton Wong.
Honestly, I'll even give Colton Wong a bit of a wash because no one knew he would be that bad.
it's unfortunate he didn't play to the
yeah.
back of his card. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, beautifully stated, Matt. But so I'll even give Wong a bit of a wash on that one. No one knew he would play as poorly as he did.
Him included.
Yeah,
While Adam Frazier goes off for the Orioles.
God
Fuck.
Dave Frazier's having such a good year. He's on my fantasy team, and
I don't
nice.
know. I just think
Good
like we
pickup.
didn't. I just think we didn't need to go for that like the highest tag player. Like obviously Bellinger didn't get traded. Like there were some guys that went off the market that were on the market before, but I don't know. We could have made a move for a left-handed pitcher. We've had Brian Wu and Bryce Miller in our rotation, and at some point we're going to have to think about innings limits.
Yes.
I've talked about having some guys in AAA, and the Mariners have mentioned going to a 6-man rotation at some point to limit those innings. But why couldn't we have gone for someone like Jordan Montgomery, who is one of the best left-handed pitchers on the market, starting pitchers on the market? Since Marco's out, Robbie Ray's out, we need left-handed pitching in our rotation. I mean, it's nice to have. And we have 2 young, like, AA prospect debut guys going right now. So
Maybe the
I think,
asking price was just a little too high.
sure,
Also,
but
I'm thinking
we
to
got to
get a-
go for it.
But I'm also thinking to get a pitcher, you're probably going to have to give up bats, and we didn't have bats
No,
necessarily.
it's
to give
prospect
up.
capital, not from our major league roster. They're going to ask for prospect capital for a guy like Montgomery on like a retooling Cardinals.
All right, I see that, but also I think like
I'm just surprised we didn't spend from our prospect capital, but I guess it's good to keep it together and it's good to have that. I'm not mad. I'm just like
no, I get
we
it.
could
then,
have.
Then we land in the
I would
middle
have been
ground.
happy.
The middle ground between where we kind of criticize Jerry for, like, dude, we're not rebuilding anymore. You can do this. You can get rid of a little prospect capital.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, take
But-
that step.
There's a balancing act there, and he's playing it the way he sees it.
Of course, yeah. And we're looking
You
towards
could
the
you
future.
could spend the prospect capital to get those kinds of players, but it tilts the scale the other way, and I think he's very afraid of that scale tilting back toward what we've seen in the last 20 years. And so he really wants to keep it even as much as he can, but I mean his ultimate goal is to let those scales tip in our favor.
I get it.
So that's the balancing act. You can criticize that all you want, but at the end of the day, what we did was not terrible.
No.
I think that's the point,
think it's
though.
good.
Is Matt's like it was perfectly okay.
It was
Yes.
what Jerry does. This
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
Jerry
yeah.
does. It's expected. I'm saying take that extra step at this point now that our window's open and if we're going for it And we have those type of dudes in our rotation who are good. I'm not saying they're not good. It's just that we're going to have to be careful with them at some point. And I want them in there all year long. I'd love them to do that, but we need a little bit more experience and depth in our rotation if we're going to go into the playoffs.
And we've been
and
saying
right
that.
now would be the time to have done that. If I would have been ecstatic, been like, oh, we picked up Jordan Montgomery, another proven lefty to come in and like shore up our lack of left-handedness and our youth in our rotation. Then we can go to our true 6-man and or switch one of those guys out when we need a lefty against a lineup that sucks against lefties, and it would have been better. I'm not criticizing anything. I just wanted more.
I feel
But that lies in the critique thing. But I think you're right. I'm on your side. I'm just kind of
For sure.
trying to visualize
Got to flesh
what we're
out
working with here.
what the value is and what we need. And I think that's what we needed is one more starting pitcher to help shore up the long run.
And there's the off season, and the Mariners are rich as fuck. So I don't know.
Well, and what I do know is that the Mariners are playing some very fun baseball right now.
Really good baseball.
It's been a lot of fun. The chaos ball is a little bit back into play of maybe down early and these late battles and coming back and big wins in late innings. It's been a lot of fun. If you have been listening to us, you're already obviously a Mariners fan. But if you've been tuning out because it's been a little rough sailing, now is the time to tune back in.
Tune back in, baby.
It has been some very, very fun baseball to watch. And you're missing out on a good ball club finally coming to fruition. That's going to wrap it up for this week. It's so nice to just have so many positive things to say again and just have fun watching baseball instead of making it being like, fuck, I got to sit through this. I got to sit through another 6-2 boring ass game.
Dude, they made our jobs easy this week.
Yeah, and it has been so much fun. I had a blast chatting with you guys. I always do. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Check out Touch and Base, a nice little midweek update we gave for you guys.
Just a shorty, just a little guy.
A little guy. You can listen to it while taking a boom boom, and you'll be all caught up to date on the trade deadline that happened. We love you guys. Thank you so much, and
Go Mariners!
All right. Rolling.
all right. A new ball, bad cup,
Beat
baseball
the drum.
on the field.
Hold the bone.
I didn't know that I could pitch like that.
That's so many baseball songs wrapped into one.
And I said, Jackie Robinson hit that ball.
Bought some coke in a bag of weed.
His name, I can't even spell it. And Marlins, we will soar.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
That's a baseball song.
It
Middle
is.
known
Mickey Mantle,
fact.
Marilyn Monroe. JFK blown away. What else do I have to say? We didn't start the fire. It's always burning. Since Mickey Mantle's been turning.
Jumpin' Joe DiMaggio.
It's a beautiful day for a ball game. For a ball game today.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba.